and country. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, interviews Altadena Girls founder Avery Covert about fighting fire with empathy and activism. Avery Covert was only 14 years old when she launched Altadena Girls during LA's devastating fires. Now, what could have been a moment has become a movement. By the Duchess of Sussex, published October 28, 2025. Earlier this year, the world looked on in horror as fires ravaged neighborhoods across Los Angeles. The question that unified us all, how can I help, was more complicated than it seemed. Ways to get involved were evolving in real time, and there were many people in need. Avery Covert, a 14-year-old eighth grader in Altadena whose school had just burnt down, was among those receiving help. He created an Instagram account and thanked her community for the food, water, and household items that had poured in through emergency efforts. She also voiced the needs specific to young girls, putting out a call for clothing, beauty products, and small essentials that would, quote, help my friends feel confident and like themselves again, end quote. These little things would help girls in the community regain a much needed sense of normalcy. That post went viral. Support for Altadena girls grew rapidly and stretched far beyond Los Angeles in the days that followed. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, a native of the city, was one of many people moved by Avery's mission, and she joined volunteers to organize and distribute donations to families who needed them most. In the months since the fires, Avery and her mother, Lauren Sandage, along with a devoted circle of volunteers and supporters, have kept up their efforts, expanding the work of Altadena Girls. They recently opened a community center in Pasadena to carry its spirit forward. Of all the things Altadena Girls has provided to a community in crisis, hope may be the most powerful. Here, Avery and Lauren speak candidly with the Duchess about what inspired their action, why it resonated so deeply, and their hopes for what will come next. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. Avery, tell us about the moment just before you created the original Instagram account for Altadena Girls. What was going through your mind? Avery Covert. I noticed that there was this stigma around girls my age asking for help, and I wanted to create a space where they could be comfortable asking for help and could feel supported. That was the original idea, but it's transformed into something so big, and we've been able to help so many people. And then you took it beyond food, clothing, and shelter to what other young people might need after their immediate needs were met. Avery Covert, AC. I was thinking about my own bedroom and how everything in there matters to me. The things that you wear, your makeup, and your hair are so important. I think most girls can relate to that. When you lose everything, your identity is stripped and you feel like you don't have a way to express yourself. I wanted to find a way to restore a sense of normalcy in their lives so they could feel like themselves again. What was the hardest part for you when leaving your home during the emergency? Lauren Sandage. Definitely not knowing if our apartment or our neighborhood would be okay. We knew there were a lot of things that were already gone. My son's school was one of the first schools to be affected, and we knew that it was going to be a long time before we could come back. AC. The thing that was so scary was there was so much unknown. Even when you came to volunteer, Meghan, I was in a state of not knowing much. The majority of people in LA didn't know what was going to happen or realize the long term effects. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. Often in those moments, people don't know what to do next. But I was so moved by the way you mobilized. What was it like when the first donations started coming? AC. The first day we realized really quickly that this was a lot and we were going to need help. People who came to donate things ended up staying and still work with us today. Having a space where girls can come together and feel seen and inspired and supported, that's something that was needed already, especially by girls my age. LS. They created a community, and that solidified for us that this was more than a donation site. The Duchess of Sussex. It was amazing to watch the original idea, which was to help young girls, end up filling a need that was so much greater. Can you share a moment that has stayed with you? AC. I remember a woman who worked at the front desk at my school. She had two daughters, and they lost their home. And when they came in, I saw her so differently. Seeing her needing help and struggling made me really upset. But then we were able to help her, and she was so grateful. That was definitely a moment when I was like, quote, it's really good, end quote. The Duchess of Sussex. Altadena girls began in the crisis moment, and then you had all these donors and media attention. How do you keep working to make an even greater impact? AC. We have so much going on right now. We're busy every single day, working on the new community center that we plan on opening in the fall. It's crazy to think that an idea I had what feels like forever ago, but was really 8 months ago, has turned into something that resonates with so many people. LS. From the beginning, it was a radical act to say that nail polish or any of these things is important, and we want to continue to do that. The physical space is really important too. Having that community center where they can come and heal, and then building it out from there. We're looking for as much support as we can get. We're building this from the ground up, so it's inspiring, but it's really hard work. Duchess of Sussex. What is it like working as a mother daughter team on this project? LS. It's really fun. It's not perfect because I'm her mom and she is 15, but I always go back to the fact that with everything we do, we're planning with girls so that they can talk about what they need. The Duchess of Sussex. Avery, your dedication to this effort speaks so much to your character. A year ago, would you have called yourself a mental health advocate? AC. If you had told me that a year ago, I wouldn't have believed you. LS. I would believe it. She's always been an advocate. I don't think she realizes it, but she is naturally always a champion for the underdog. Duchess of Sussex. At my high school, it was a requirement to do volunteer work before graduation. Had you done volunteer work before this? LS. When we lived in Tennessee, there were a lot of floods and a lot of tornadoes. AC. We would make donuts and bring them to firefighters. The Duchess of Sussex. What advice would you give to other people whose communities are in crisis? AC. I tell people that in a moment of crisis, I couldn't sit there and do nothing. I was so angry that this had happened. The best advice I could give is to ignore any thoughts like, oh, you can't do this. I took a step forward and said, quote, this is what I'm going to do and I'm going to do it now, end quote. LS. It's about restoring a sense of dignity. We lost our home in a flood in Tennessee in 2021, actually, right before we moved to LA, and a lot of people showed up and helped in different ways. But the thing that really resonated with me was when someone asked what I need instead of doing what they thought I needed. Duchess of Sussex, you never thought your work would grow to be this big, and even if it hadn't, it still would have been meaningful and made an impact. My goodness, if our daughter turns out to be anything like you, I'll be the proudest mom. How can people continue to help you? AC, I'm really excited for what's to come. When you're a teenager, everything feels like the biggest thing in the world. Even if it's not going to matter in 10 years, it really matters to you now. I always forget how much time I have, and this is only the beginning. LS, we have big plans for the physical space with lots of activations. It's going to be a hub for all the other amazing programs serving the same community. Fender is doing music rooms for us and donating guitars, amps, and programming. It's going to be really amazing. We also have a creative space that Paris Hilton is sponsoring, a really beautiful space with lots of vision boards and other fun stuff. We still need support to make sure we can be sustainable long term so that we can deliver the programming. It's definitely bold to do a physical space this soon. It's a very ambitious project, but we believe it's necessary. the Duchess of Sussex. Watching the community rally behind your idea is a testament to the resilience of LA. There's still a long way to go, but having you spearhead this is such an incredible North Star for so many people. What's next? EC. I feel so lucky and grateful that this has been successful. My goal for Altadena Girls is that every girl who walks in feels inspired. I want to create a new generation of women who feel confident that they can do anything.